Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel, The Primordial Law. Volume 4, Shuangsheng Dao Sect Twin Rice Sect. Chapter 71 326 Tang Wanzhou's Problem. 71st of Volume 4. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. Mind your own business, Yao Qingshan said coldly, and don't tell anyone I'm still alive. If you do, disaster will surely follow. You call me master, so I'm warning you for your own good. She brought Li Wei back to the first layer of the Asura layer. Give me the ghost banner, she said. Li Wei had anticipated this moment, so he handed over the ghost banner without hesitation, asking anxiously, Master, are you still going to intercept it? That resurrected monk corpse is terrifyingly powerful. It's too dangerous. Yao Qingshan took the ghost banner and released her willpower to examine it. A flicker of surprise flashed in her eyes before she turned to Li Wei, who stood much taller than her. Perhaps because of Li Wei's decisive action in handing over the ghost banner, or perhaps because of her concern, Yao Qingshan, who usually avoided explanations, spoke softly. Xikong Yanlin, Xikong Jingyuan, and Yi Zhouzu all described the ghost banner in glowing terms, blaming their failures entirely on it. This has piqued the interest of some immortal realm great powers within the divine sect, including hall master level figures. Keep holding it. Once you leave the main hall, you'll face unpredictable dangers. You don't want to be trapped in the southern purity Nanqing Palace forever, do you? You must venture out. Young people should have the sharpness of youth, advancing with the sun and thunder and lightning. The blood handprint demonic armor is only a 9th grade 100 character artifact. I believe you can defend it with your current strength, and you deserve to possess such a battle treasure. If those rare insect larvae were truly stolen by an old geezer, he wouldn't be able to hide them. Hall Master and even the Zhu hidden sect would come after him. Therefore, for you right now, the ghost banner poses the greatest threat. Li Wei asked, what exactly did Xikong Yanlin and the others fabricate? What they fabricated doesn't matter. The older generation knows everything. They've experienced it all and understand the truth perfectly well. Your escape, your ability to wound them, and your seizure of their battle treasure have brought great honor to me. Hall Master and laughed heartily, saying that as long as you remain loyal, she'll protect you until you become a holy spiritual master. Yao Qingshan, holding the ghost banner, vanished from the suspension bridge, returning to the Truth Zen forest. She had made her intentions clear, she wasn't going to participate in the battle. Instead, she was using this opportunity to tell those within the divine sect who coveted the ghost banner that it was indeed a supreme treasure, but it was currently in her possession. If you want to seize it, go find her. The tremors of battle never ceased. Li Wei gazed across the drawbridge, sensing Yao Qingshan's sincerity, yet his doubts remained unresolved. Soon, his thoughts turned to Zhenhai Guanwu and his 3 masters, filling him with worry. But he knew he could do nothing to help right now. The 4 of them had lived for over 1,000 years and weathered countless storms. They likely had their own escape plan. Lost in a whirlwind of thoughts, Li Wei waited for over an hour on the first level of the Asura layer before Tuoba Buchuo, Qi Shao, Yang Qingxi, and Yang Qingshan finally returned. Naturally, they were surprised to find Li Wei had arrived even earlier. Without asking too many questions, they all returned to the mortal realm layer together. The rumbling and shaking of the underground immortal mansion continued unabated, sending shivers down their spines. The main hall was protected by layers of formations that greatly mitigated the shockwaves, minimizing the impact. Yang Yun and a group of martial mystic cultivators who followed Yang Qingxi came to greet them. Yang Yun exclaimed excitedly, thank heavens, sister. We've finally been waiting for you to return. I led people to search the southern region several times, but we couldn't find any trace of your second sister. I was worried sick. Only when I learned you were with brother Yi did I finally feel relieved. Yi Nanfeng chuckled. 4th divine son and 6th divine daughter, your methods are truly extraordinary. It's so satisfying to see Xikong Yanlin lose an arm and Xikong Jingyuan have his 7th grade battle treasure stolen. They even went crying to the Wither Flourish Karong Hall, claiming you ambushed them. Anyone with eyes can see they were up to no good, and now they've paid the price with an arm and a treasure. Yi Baifeng chimed in, they deserved their humiliation for daring to make enemies of such peerless heavenly prides. Li Wei turned to Yang Qingxi, Xikongchen is in your custody. Will you handle the aftermath? Of course. With a witness in hand, I'm eager to see how Xikong Yanlin and Xikong Jingyuan will wriggle out of this mess, Yang Qingxi said with interest, already envisioning a hefty compensation. Under different circumstances, Li Wei would have exploited Xikong Qin to thoroughly humiliate Xikong Yanlin and Xikong Jingyuan and extort a substantial sum from them. But having reaped such a massive harvest, he wasn't currently short on Yongquan coins and didn't want to waste time on such matters. He was eager to return to the southern purity Nanqing Palace to focus on cultivation. Sikong Ce, who had been crippled by Tuoba Butuo and sealed in a cosmic pouch, was also a crucial witness. However, during the battle, the cosmic pouch accidentally shattered, and this Dao Seed Realm, fourth heaven expert was torn apart by spatial power. Now, Sikong Qin remained the sole witness. Yang Yun said, they clearly knew you would return and expose their lies. They've already taken on a mission and left for the surface. Li Wei, Tuoba Butuo, and Qi Xiao first went to the Spirit Valley Lingu Hall to exchange the meditation mushrooms they had picked and the rusty armor and weapons they had salvaged from the swamp for cultivation resources. The rusty armor and weapons were vast in number and worth over 1,000,000 Yongquan coins. In addition to Millennium Essence herbs, Li Wei also exchanged for the 14 auxiliary medicines needed to refine star spiritual pills. He currently had enough spirit platform blazing star stones. To reach the peak of 4-star spiritual master cultivation as quickly as possible and qualify for the 5-star spiritual master breakthrough, refining star spiritual pills was his only option. As for the meditation mushrooms, all were white and blue, their grade too low to be of any real help. He naturally exchanged them all. Martial mystic Dao cultivation relied more on enlightenment, scriptures, and guidance from renowned masters. The primary need for cultivation resources lay in physical training. For martial mystic cultivators practicing the dragon seed, even Dao lotus pills and Dao fruit pills could be skipped. Li Wei then visited the technique pavilion to borrow Daoist scriptures. For the next period, he would focus on martial mystic Dao cultivation, particularly the 12-character Dao seed. Cultivating psychic power and the Wind Mansion dragon seed were merely distractions to conceal his true intentions. The 12-character Dao seed within his divine gate was the fundamental key to whether he could reach the pinnacle of the martial mystic Dao in the future. I feel like I'll break through to the Dao Seed Realm, third heaven, soon and catch up to Tuoba. As long as my physical cultivation keeps pace, I won't have any weaknesses, Qi Xiao said, having exchanged for several precious medicines for physical cultivation and with 4 pounds of immortal soil in hand, his mood was excellent. Tuoba Butuo declared proudly, within 2 months, I will definitely condense a Dao Lotus. Then I can compete with one of the 5th Divine Sons. Those 2 Divine Sons have been severely weakened, one lost an arm, and the other lost a 7th rank battle artifact. They might not be your match. On their way back to the southern Purity Nanqing Palace, the 3 of them chatted and laughed. Though this journey had been fraught with danger, the rewards were immense, and the future looked promising. Look, that should be the hole the monk corpse broke through, Qi Xiao said, pointing at the sky. Li Wei looked up. The hole was small, appearing about the same size as the sun and moon from the ground. This position. Li Wei realized the hole in the sky was directly above the southern Purity Nanqing Palace, and his heart skipped a beat as a thought struck him. He immediately activated his body technique and rushed back at top speed. Tuoba Butuo and Qi Xiao exchanged puzzled glances and followed closely behind Li Wei. Back at the southern Purity Nanqing Palace, Li Wei rushed straight to the area where the Black Buddhist Pagoda stood, the location of the formation. He retrieved the Azure Jade Formation Talisman, opened the formation light veil, and stepped inside. On the first floor of the pagoda, where the open doorway had once revealed the withered corpse bound by chains, nothing remained. As if struck by a bolt of lightning from a clear sky, Li Wei froze, his scalp tingling. It really did awaken. The monk corpse had awakened a month ago, and Li Wei couldn't help but shudder at the thought. If he hadn't been outside the main hall at the time, wouldn't he have encountered it head-on? He didn't know that the monk corpse's awakening was caused by the Dao ancestors Tai Chi fish's unusual activity. Li Wei immediately rushed to the formation area where the golden rice grew, only to breathe a sigh of relief upon finding it unharmed. Damn it! After this battle, the monk corpse's origins will inevitably be discovered. Won't the space teleportation formation be exposed along with it? Li Wei felt a headache coming on. He hurried to the formation area where Tang Wanzhou had been hiding, intending to remove the blood crystal embedded in the space teleportation formation and restore it to its original state. As for Tang Wanzhou, if she wanted to return, she would have done so long ago. Most likely, she had perished on the other side of the space teleportation formation. Tang Wanzhou. The moment Li Wei stepped into the formation light veil, he saw Tang Wanzhou lying unconscious at the center of the space teleportation formation. His heart surged with both shock and joy, and he immediately rushed forward to check on her. Her life force was strong, her body showed no injuries, and her blood qi was vigorous. Yet she remained unconscious, in a bizarre state. She must have just returned. The battle in the Sacred Heart level must have broken out, allowing her to escape. What exactly did she go through? Missing for 2 months, yet showing no signs of imprisonment or suppression, it was truly strange. Li Wei called out to her for a long time, but he couldn't wait any longer. And Shanjing and Yao Qingshan might return at any moment. So, he released his psychic power, intending to enter her sea of consciousness, communicate with her, and forcibly awaken her. But the moment his psychic power entered her body, a torrent of overwhelming willpower surged back at him like a tidal wave. Li Weiyi's expression changed drastically. He hadn't expected Tang Wanzhou's battle technique intent to still possess such terrifying self-defense even in her current state. He immediately retreated to defend himself. Boom. Reeling from Tang Wanzhou's willpower counterattack, Li Weiyi trembled violently. His psychic power faltered, and countless illusions, both real and false, flooded his mind. It felt as though someone had forcibly created a memory, stuffing it with experiences that weren't his own. These memories and experiences vividly portrayed the 7 emotions and 6 desires, twisting him, altering his mental state, and blurring the lines between reality and illusion. Li Weiyi managed to maintain his clarity only because the 2 fish eyes of the Dao ancestors' Tai Chi fish on his chest had grown bright, coalescing into a Tai Chi diagram seal that enveloped him, leaving his mind clear and his spirit sharp. How could she possess such bizarre willpower? Li Weiyi collapsed to the ground, practicing the jade void breathing technique to sort through the memories and experiences flooding his mind. The more he sorted, the more shocked he became. He strongly suspected that Tang Wanzhou hadn't simply gone mad, she had encountered something terrifyingly strange in the Sacred Heart level. Each memory was utterly bizarre, wildly different from reality, yet chillingly plausible. For example, Tang Wanzhou had forced her way into the mortal realm lair, sustained grievous injuries, and sought refuge in the southern purity Nanqing Palace, finding Li Weiyi entirely of her own volition. But during the recent psychic backlash, memories were forcibly implanted into Li Weiyi's mind. These memories depicted her gravely wounded, Li Weiyi secretly smuggling her into the southern purity Nanqing Palace and hiding her within this formation area. The entire process was intimate, their conversations and actions resembling those of clandestine lovers. For instance, it was clearly her own decision to enter the space teleportation formation. Yet in the chaotic memories, it was Li Weiyi who had urged her to enter the formation. Li Weiyi didn't know why this was happening, and his heart was filled with worry. He could only hope that his cultivation wasn't high enough, and he had been mentally wounded by the other party's long life will, rather than something being wrong with her. As time passed, the pain in Li Weiyi's head subsided, and his thoughts gradually cleared. At the center of the space teleportation formation, Tang Wanzhou, tall and slender, awoke. She slowly sat up, her head splitting with pain. A torrent of negative emotions flooded her mind: sadness, fury, agony, resentment. She felt deeply wronged, wanting to weep and kill at the same time. Tang Wanzhou's gaze fell upon Li Weiyi, who had risen outside the formation. Gradually, the hazy figure in her mind, the one she both adored and resented, became clearer and more distinct. Filled with hatred, Tang Wanzhou clenched her pearly teeth, her voice cold and filled with resentment. Li Weiyi, why did you use me? Li Weiyi rubbed his temples, having just stood up. His face paled at these words. He inwardly groaned, it's over. Something really did go wrong. Before he could explain, Tang Wanzhou reached out and seized him through the air, clamping her hand around his throat. Her eyes, cold as swords yet brimming with tears, slammed Li Weiyi to the ground with a thud. She choked out in agony, I trusted you so much. I gave you everything I had. Why did you deceive me? Why? Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel: The Primordial Law. Volume 4, Xuansheng Dao Sect Twin Rice Sect. Chapter 72 327 Unexplainable. 72nd of Volume 4. Translator: Shadow Knight AK. Editor: Shadow Knight AK. Li Weiyi couldn't speak, his neck nearly crushed by her grip. He pounded her arm while using spiritual power to say, calm down. You've fallen into chi deviation. I've never been more clear-headed. If I were truly in chi deviation, your head would be separated from your body by now. Tears streamed down Tang Wanzhou's face like beads, genuine heartbreak etched in her expression. Li Weiyi's face was drenched in her tears. Let go first. I can explain everything. Fine. For the sake of our year-long relationship, I'll give you a chance to speak before I kill you, so you won't accuse me of being heartless. Tang Wanzhou released her grip and slumped back, defeated. Li Weiyi finally gasped for breath, propping himself up to face her. The young lord before him bore no resemblance to the peerlessly beautiful youth she once knew. She looked like a resentful woman whose heart had been broken. Li Weiyi knew something was deeply wrong with her memories and emotions. He wasted no time, starting from the beginning. Young lord, do you remember why you entered the underground immortal mansion? What did you call me? Tang Wanzhou let out a self-mocking laugh, her red lips parting in a tearful smile. She nodded fiercely. Fine, very well. You're truly ruthless. No matter. You won't live much longer anyway. Li Weiyi's entire body went numb. Only a fraction of the memories and experiences that had flooded his mind earlier had been genuine. He had no idea what she had called him in her false memories. Li Weiyi forced himself to remain calm. Answer my question first. I can definitely restore you to normal. Tang Wanzhou said, if not to help you find the spirit platform blazing star stone, why would I have risked entering the underground immortal mansion? Li Wei frowned deeply. How long have we known each other? Where did we meet? Naturally, we met in Chu Prefecture City. If you ask me any more nonsense, don't blame me for killing you right now, she snapped. Li Wei continued, if we've only known each other for a few months, why would a wise and rational person like you risk helping me? Doesn't that seem illogical? The truth is, these memories are false. You've encountered a problem with your cultivation, or you faced an unknown danger on the other side of the space teleportation formation. Tang Wanzhou stared at him, her eyes wide with disbelief, as if trying to re-evaluate him from scratch. Li Wei, how can a person be so shameless? Yes, it's true, I've been obsessed with cultivation since childhood, lacking real-world experience and understanding too little about human nature. Otherwise, I wouldn't have fallen so hard for you. But to think you'd treat me like an idiot. Seeing her emotions spiraling out of control and sensing she was about to strike, a strike that would clearly be meant to kill him, Li Wei's head nearly exploded. He quickly tried to calm her down. No, absolutely not. Let's calm down first and give me another chance to explain. You'd better choose your words carefully. My patience is wearing thin, Tang Wanzhou warned. Li Wei decided to change his approach. There must be a misunderstanding between us. Young lord, where did I take advantage of you? Where did I deceive you? He had to understand her current state first, and the priority was to stabilize her. Tang Wanzhou glared at him coldly, retorting, don't you know? I don't. Li Wei paused, then quickly added, I told you, there's been a misunderstanding between us. We need to clear it up. Have you forgotten how much we used to trust each other? Tang Wanzhou recalled their shared past, her gaze softening with a mixture of tenderness and sorrow. Let me ask you, are you a member of the heretical sect? In a way, yes, Li Wei admitted. Then what more is there to say? Tang Wanzhou formed a sword finger gesture. You had me gather a large force to enter the underground immortal mansion and help you find the spirit platform blazing star stone, all to lure me to the headquarters of the evil cult, didn't you? I only joined the divine cult after I arrived at its headquarters. Have you forgotten how I encountered Venerable Nan at the Starfire altar? Li Wei countered. Tang Wanzhou's anger flared. Isn't she your master? Didn't you invite her? I was forced to become her disciple later, Li Wei said. Tang Wanzhou retorted, lies, nothing but lies. I'll never trust you again. Just go die. Every year on this day, I'll burn paper money for you. Wait. Li Wei shouted, fine, I did lure you to the divine cult's headquarters. But what was my goal? If I were truly a scoundrel, you'd be locked up in the divine prison by now, or already executed. Tang Wanzhou sneered, you probably planned to use me until you were done, then hand me over to the heretical sect in exchange for a fortune in resources, didn't you? What did I use you for? Li Wei asked. To go to the Sacred Heart Lair and steal the Book of Radiant Stars for you, Tang Wanzhou replied. Li Wei was completely speechless. Tang Wanzhou stood up, her posture gradually straightening. She suppressed her intense emotions and negative feelings. Nothing left to say, is there? For you, countless heavenly prides from the Northern Territory fell into the divine prison and died on the Starfire altar. Li Wei, you deserve to die 10 times over. Wait, I have a witness. Li Wei's eyes lit up. Young lord, do you remember Tuoba Buchuo? The Tuoba clan has only produced one inheritor in a century. How could I not know? Tang Wanzhou said. Wait here for a moment. Li Wei stepped out of the formation's light curtain. Tuoba Buchuo and Qishao were waiting outside. Seeing the wound on Li Wei's neck, they were deeply concerned and immediately asked what had happened. I can't explain it clearly in a few words. Tuoba, come with me. Old Qi, if the Hallmaster and Venerable return, don't tell them I'm inside this formation. Li Wei led Tuoba Buchuo back into the formation's light curtain. Tuoba Buchuo saw Tang Wanzhou standing by the space teleportation formation, his eyes filled with shock. He immediately knelt on one knee and bowed. Tuoba Buchuo greets young lord. Young lord, why are you also at the Southern Purity Nanqing Palace? Tang Wanzhou had already regained the bearing of the young lord of the Northern Territory. He stood with one hand behind his back, his slender neck as white as snow, his pride reaching the clouds. I've been here all along. Didn't this fourth divine son of the heretical sect tell you? Tuoba Buchuo turned to Li Wei, his face a mask of confusion. He truly couldn't understand what was happening. How had the young lord entered the rice cultivation headquarters, and why had he hidden with Brother Wei for an entire year? If the young lord trusted Brother Wei so much, why had his tone just now been so distant and cold? Li Wei said, the young lord encountered some trouble. Tuoba, tell him why he entered the underground immortal mansion. Tuoba Buchuo looked even more bewildered. Of course, we came to explore the underground immortal mansion. Right, it was for the Book of Radiant Stars on the murals. Li Wei turned to Tang Wanzhou. Tang Wanzhou said softly, it was my fault. I was too easily deceived, putting you all in danger. Even Tang who died. I will never make such a mistake again in my life. Tuoba Butuo asked, young lord, who did you trust wrongly? Tang Wanzhou turned to Li Wei. He told me about the mural depicting the Book of Radiant Stars. Now that I think about it, he deliberately led me there. Tuoba Butuo was completely stunned, never imagining such hidden machinations. Every young martial mystic cultivator in the Northern Territory considered Tang Wanzhou an idol, a banner to follow. Tuoba Butuo was no exception. In his eyes, she was the embodiment of perfection, her innate talent, courage, wisdom, and magnanimity were all unparalleled. Therefore, he trusted her completely, even beyond trust, treating her words as gospel. Li Wei whispered, Tuoba, the young lord may have suffered a qi deviation, causing her memory to become distorted. She even believes that I have a deep connection with her. Tuoba Butuo carefully examined Tang Wanzhou, but saw nothing amiss. He chuckled. Brother Wei, you and the young lord are kindred spirits. If you didn't have a deep connection, why would she be hiding here? This shows absolute trust in you. Li Wei said, the connection I'm talking about isn't the same as what you mean. It's romantic. Tuoba Butuo's eyes nearly popped out of his head. He had never imagined that a woman like the young lord would fall for a man. Such a revelation would send shockwaves throughout the entire Northern Territory. Unbelievable, right? Li Wei said. Tuoba Butuo saw Tang Wanzhou standing calmly, not denying it. The shock in his heart was beyond words. After a long moment, he burst into laughter. To be honest, if it were any other man, I, Tuoba Butuo, would never accept it. No one in this world is worthy of the young lord. But if it's Brother Wei, I can accept it calmly, because you two are the people I truly admire. Slap. Li Wei slapped him on his silver-white head. Get serious. My head is on the line, and I'm counting on you to save it. Trust me, something is seriously wrong with her, even though she looks normal on the surface. Tang Wanzhou said calmly, you can leave now. This has nothing to do with you. Alright. Young lord, Brother Wei, you're both the smartest people in the world. If there's a misunderstanding, you'll surely resolve it. I'm completely clueless about romantic relationships. I really can't help you. Tuoba Butuo quickly withdrew from the formation's light curtain, still dazed. The shock in his heart wouldn't subside, and he let out a long breath. Qi Xiao walked over and asked, what major event has happened? Tuoba Butuo's thoughts drifted far away. The Qi clan belongs to the Zuaoqiu clan, right? That's right, Qi Xiao said. Tuoba Butuo continued, once you leave, find a way to break off Zuaoqiu clan's engagement. Otherwise, Zuaoqiu Hongting will face her most terrifying rival in this lifetime. This might be the root of the greatest pain and conflict for those two inside. Qi Xiao was completely bewildered, unsure what he was talking about. Within the formation's shimmering light curtain, Tang Wanzhou said, in this life, I only pursued the pinnacle of the martial mystic path and sought to end the chaos, bringing peace back to the world. Your appearance, though it wounded my heart in the short term, time will heal all wounds, and everything will return to its proper course. You may think yourself brilliant and cunning, but once I fully realize the truth, I have the strength to sever the bonds of my heart. Li Wei, take your own life. Li Wei sensed that the battle had stopped and that Yao Qingshan might return at any moment. His heart raced. He considered using the Dao Ancestor Tai Chi fish, thinking it might be effective against her. But with the hatred and killing intent burning within him, how could he possibly give him a chance to use the Dao Ancestor's Tai Chi fish? Moreover, the Dao Ancestor's Tai Chi fish was his most closely guarded secret. Li Wei had to change his strategy once more. If you kill me, how will you leave the headquarters? That's my concern, not yours, Tang Wanzhou replied coldly. Li Wei walked toward her. I know nothing I say now will convince you. But you must at least believe that if your hiding place is exposed, neither of us will escape death. The battle is over, and Venerable Nan could return at any moment. The Hall Master of the Spirit Valley, Lingu Hall might even come too. The entire headquarters is under lockdown now, with all formations activated. Even transcendent cultivators might be involved. If you leave the Southern Purity Nanqing Palace, you're certain to die. Only I can help you. I can even help you escape the headquarters and return to the surface. Tang Wanzhou nodded slightly, clever. You've actually found a way out. I must warn you, if you're just stalling for time, waiting for Venerable Nan to return so you can hand me over, I'll drag you down with me before I die. Time was running out, and there was no other choice. After some bargaining, Li Wei finally relented and let Tang Wanzhou hide in the ancestral field. Her sense of danger was acute, she refused to enter a boundary pouch, insisting on controlling Li Wei's life and death, fearing another trap. This man had broken her heart. Li Wei erased all traces of Tang Wanzhou's presence and sent from the area, destroyed the space teleportation formation, and piled all the rubble on top. Just as he stepped out of the formation, Tuoba Butuo, who had been guarding the Southern Purity Nanqing Palace, rushed over to report urgently, Venerable has returned. Stay calm and don't reveal any weaknesses. Li Wei hurried out to greet them, utterly exhausted. The trouble stemming from his theft of a spirit platform blazing star stone from Tangwanzhou in Chu Prefecture City was escalating. What should he do next? Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 4, Xuansheng Dao Sect Twin Rice Sect. Chapter 73 328 Luan Sheng Lin Yu arrives at the main hall. 73rd of Volume 4. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. A month later. Tang Wanzhou entered Li Wei's ancestral field and sat cross-legged in midair, falling into a deathly stillness. No matter how Li Wei called out, he couldn't rouse her. Li Wei tried to mobilize his spiritual qi to expel Tang Wanzhou from the ancestral field, but she remained as unyielding as a mountain, impossible to budge, as if she had taken root there. Considering Tang Wanzhou's immortal realm cultivation and the terrifying backlash of her willpower from before, Li Wei dared not use the Dao ancestor's Tai Chi fish, fearing it might provoke her and unleash an unpredictable power storm that would destroy his ancestral field. He could only let Tang Wanzhou reside there. Li Wei had been pondering recently, why had Tang Wanzhou undergone such a drastic change? He strongly suspected that it wasn't a case of demonic possession but something she had encountered on the other side of the space teleportation formation. As Tang Wanzhou remained in a prolonged state of stillness within his ancestral field, a terrifying thought surfaced in Li Wei's mind, linking him to the Grand Palace mistress of the Lingxiao Palace, who had remained secluded within her palace for many years. Tang Wanzhou's condition mirrored the legendary Grand Palace mistresses perfectly. Both had once been brilliant strategists, wise and insightful, their brilliance eclipsing all men in the world. Then, suddenly, their personalities had undergone a complete transformation, as if possessed by a demon, becoming fanatically extreme. After the Grand Palace mistress's transformation, she encouraged the cultivation of benevolent rice and issued the Shoutian Edict, plunging the world into chaos and igniting widespread resentment among the people. At that time, the imperial court and the ancient myriad sects discovered that the Twin Rice sect's main hall was located in Fu Prefecture. However, due to the outbreak of war, the human race's major powers were preoccupied with warring against the imperial court and had no energy to deal with the Twin Rice sect. When Li Wei and Tang Wanzhou had discussed this matter earlier, Li Wei had speculated whether the decade-long war might be connected to the Twin Rice sect, a deliberate attempt to divert attention and pit the human race against itself, allowing the sect to seize power amid the chaos and complete its final harvest. Tang Wanzhou had dismissed this theory, arguing that the Twin Rice sect was not powerful enough to manipulate Yu Yaozi to such an extent. Now, however, it seemed there might be a connection after all. Perhaps the world had underestimated the true strength of the Twin Rice sect. Li Wei's heart was heavy. If this war, which had claimed countless lives, had indeed been orchestrated by the Twin Rice sect over a decade ago with the goal of eradicating humanity from the Lingxiao realm, what did his current allegiance to the sect truly mean? Tang Wanzhou had risked her life to investigate the Yin Corpse Dao seed at the Twin Rice sect's main hall. If the coming storm and slaughter were truly as brutal as she had predicted, the consequences would be even more devastating. A woman had risked her life for the sake of the people. And he, in his desperate struggle for survival, had become a member of the Twin Rice sect. Whenever Li Wei thought about this, he felt an unbearable pain, leaving him utterly bewildered about the path ahead. For the first time, he realized how blurred the lines between right and wrong, good and evil truly were. Right contained wrong, and wrong contained right. Good contained evil, and evil contained good. Everything in the world seemed like a Tai Chi fish, with no absolute black and no absolute white. Unfortunately, the space teleportation formation had been destroyed, making it impossible to investigate the other side and confirm his suspicions. Perhaps he could only wait for Tang Wanzhou to truly regain consciousness to learn the truth. Li Wei held a deep admiration for her, placing an extraordinary trust in her abilities and strength. He believed she would surely break free from the illusion and rediscover her true self. Even after just waking up from the space teleportation formation, she had quickly regained her sanity, refusing to be completely consumed by madness and negative emotions. On a wide road about 3 or 4 miles from the southern Purity Nanqing Palace, a magnificent procession of ornate carriages was heading toward the Heavenly Principles Tianli Hall. 7 carriages in total, some drawn by strange beasts, others by fallen soul beasts. A large group of demon race martial mystic cultivators with beast heads and human bodies followed behind, releasing billowing clouds of spiritual qi and demon cloud. Why are demon race martial mystic cultivators appearing at the divine sect's headquarters? Qi Xiao exclaimed in astonishment, gazing at the procession from afar. Tuoba Buchuo said, the carriage at the front. It exudes a terrifying aura. It must be a high-ranking member of the demon race. Li Wei said, Tuoba, go and find out who it is. Yes. Tuoba Butuo had already broken through to the fourth heaven of the Dao Seed realm. Coupled with their previous defeat of Xikong Jingyuan and Xikong Yanlin, their strength had shaken the entire divine sect. Now, he and Qi Xiao could move freely throughout the main hall without anyone daring to provoke them. In fact, inner sect disciples, core disciples, and true inheritance disciples came daily, seeking to pledge their loyalty to the fourth divine son. Li Wei, however, had no intention of expanding his influence within the Twin Rice sect. His heart was torn by conflicting emotions, and he turned them all away. In short, despite the arduous battle at the Netherflower Black Swamp, they had earned the respect and awe of the divine sect's younger generation, firmly establishing their position at the main hall. Over an hour later, Tuoba Butuo returned with a grim expression. You wouldn't believe who I saw. Qi Xiao said, there can't be many demon race cultivators we know. It couldn't be someone from the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival, could it? Tuoba Butuo looked at Li Wei. Luansheng Linyu is touring the divine sect's headquarters right now, accompanied by the second divine son, Wangshu Wild Void. Long Ting, Chen Wenwu, and other young powerhouses who have become famous throughout the world are following closely behind. The second divine sons, Wangshu Wild Void and Kongshu Empty Void, are rumored to be descendants of the Transcendent, cultivating the Void Seal, their cultivation second only to the first divine son. The third divine daughter, Liniang, is shrouded in mystery, with very little information available about her. Qi Xiao froze. It really is him. Have the demon race and the divine sect reconciled their conflict? The conflict between the two major powers naturally referred to Qilin Zhuang's destruction of the underground immortal mansion, dragging the hidden Twin Rice sect into the fray. This maneuver had tied down a large number of human cultivators in the underground immortal mansion in Fu Prefecture, allowing the demon race to hold their own against the human forces. Something big is about to happen. It won't just be Luansheng Linyu. Some of the demon clan's supreme experts must be accompanying him. Li Wei sensed the storm brewing and said, Tuoba, keep investigating. I want to know Luansheng Linyu's purpose for visiting the divine prison. Tuoba Butuo replied, I've already sent people from the sixth divine maiden's residence to gather information. I'm afraid. If I meet them, I won't be able to resist attacking. At the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival, Snowsword Tank Court was nearly annihilated by the cultivators led by Luansheng Linyu. Tuoba Butuo was the only survivor from the Tuoba clan. He had never forgotten this blood debt. Qi Xiao chuckled. What do you think? After 2 years, what cultivation realm has Luansheng Linyu reached? Tuoba Butuo said, before Brother Wei appeared at the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival, I once thought that Luansheng Linyu, who could rival the young lord from over a decade ago, was an unbeatable young celestial emperor. Even without a dragon seed, such a figure's cultivation speed would be terrifying. With the dragon seed's blessing, being the direct descendant of the flying dragon, and possessing a deeper understanding and compatibility with the dragon seed than anyone else, I can't even imagine how strong Luansheng Linyu must be now. Li Wei nodded slightly. A year ago, I clashed with Long Ting. His cultivation realm was already ahead of Tuoba and Yang Qingxi then. Luansheng Linyu would only have grown stronger since then. Therefore, Tuoba, you must control your hatred. There's no need to clash head-on with him. Remember, the old guard of the human race's major powers are probably all plotting to take his life. His days aren't as glorious as they seem. Shortly after, news arrived from the sixth divine maiden's residence. Luansheng Linyu has taken 30 people from the divine prison. All of them are Dao Seed realm experts under the Imperial Court's banner. For 2 years, countless martial mystic cultivators had been venturing into the underground immortal mansion in search of opportunities. The mansion held the greatest allure for inferior Foundation Dao Seed realm martial mystic cultivators, who believed they could uncover the secret to breaking through their limitations and achieving immortality. These martial mystic cultivators, hailing from all corners of the world, had been ambushed and captured by the Twin Rice sect. All those taken alive were imprisoned in the divine prison. When Yao Qingshan returned to the southern Purity Nanqing Palace, her demeanor was noticeably different from her usual calm and sharp self. Even Li Wei could sense the turmoil within her, her eyes filled with gravity, struggle, distress, and contemplation. Li Wei didn't ask any questions, simply stood silently and waited. After a long moment, Yao Qingshan finally suppressed all outward signs of emotion, her voice regaining its usual coldness. The fluctuations of the golden rice are growing stronger. It should sprout within the next 2 days. What are your plans now? Master's implication is that you don't want me to remain in the southern Purity Nanqing Palace any longer, Li Wei replied. Yao Qingshan looked at him, as if she had long seen through him. If it weren't for the golden rice, you would have left the southern Purity Nanqing Palace long ago, wouldn't you? Haven't you felt stifled staying here? Li Wei inhaled sharply, wondering if his secrets had already been exposed. Life in the southern Purity Nanqing Palace, entering the blood-mud space, or cultivating within the time cocoon, had indeed required constant caution, leaving him unable to fully relax. Tang Wanzhou in the ancestral field was like a ticking time bomb. Leaving would be ideal. Yao Qingxian quickly averted her gaze. Today, a transcendence from the demon race came to the main hall. Do you know why? Li Weiyi replied, the demon race transcendence entered the main hall. The divine sect could never have concealed its presence from their senses. From now on, the location of the divine sect's headquarters will no longer be a secret. In other words, the divine sect is about to officially reveal itself to the world. The moment we emerge, a cataclysmic event will occur, sweeping away all threats and reshaping the Lingxiao realm's power structure. I've heard that Luan Sheng Linyu, the young leader of the demon race, went to the divine prison and took away 30 Dao Seed realm prisoners under the imperial court's banner. I venture to guess that the Twin Rice sect and the demon race are about to attack Lingxiao City, overthrow the imperial court, and shatter the human race into complete disarray. If that happens, even if our main hall is exposed, no one will be able to threaten us. Yao Qingxian's eyes flashed with surprise. She hadn't expected Li Weiyi to deduce the general course of events with such limited information. She said, I've met Luan Sheng Linyu. He's a peerless genius, his talent and intellect unmatched. No one in the divine sect's younger generation can rival him. If your ancestral field hadn't been crippled, you might have stood a chance against him. Have you reached the second heaven of the Dao Seed realm? Li Weiyi forced a bitter smile. Master, I've only been cultivating the Dao Seed in the Wind Mansion for 2 months. Yao Qingxian said, Luan Sheng Linyu reached the second heaven 2 months after cultivating the Dao Seed, and entered the third heaven 6 months later. He's the direct grandson of the flying dragon, with an unparalleled understanding of dragon seeds. Forget about a half-crippled like me, even the 10 disciples who went to the Calamity Crossing Temple for training might not be able to catch up to him. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel, The Primordial Law. Volume 4, Shuangsheng Dao Sect Twin Rice Sect. Chapter 74 329 A Storm is Brewing. 74th of Volume 4. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. Li Weiyi had devoted most of his time recently to cultivating the 12-character Dao Seed and refining the Star Spiritual Pill, neglecting his Wind Mansion Dragon Seed cultivation. Despite this, he was nearing the Dragon Seed's awakening. He changed the subject, asking, Master, when will we attack Lingxiao City? Yao Qingxian replied, the demon clan naturally wants it to happen as soon as possible, as the transcendent beings injured in the epic battle 2 years ago are steadily recovering. But the divine sect wants to delay it as long as possible. Li Weiyi cautiously inquired, is this related to the strange phenomenon spreading from the Fu prefecture? I've heard that the emerging tombstones and burial mounds have spread across several neighboring prefectures, even surrounding Chu Prefecture City and Bingju's Lake, the legendary corpse cultivation rice. The longer we delay, the more burial mounds and corpse cultivation rice will sprout from the ground. When the rice powder spreads across the world, the divine sect's soldiers will become as numerous as the sea, swallowing the world unopposable. Yao Qingxian's eyes narrowed coldly. Where did you hear this? Li Weiyi's heart trembled. Is this true? I don't know, and I hope you don't either, Yao Qingxian said. Li Weiyi asked, Master, are you worried that if I spread this secret, it will kill me and you? Yao Qingxian replied, when you're not strong enough, learn to keep your mouth shut. When you think you're clever enough to do things unnoticed, you've become arrogant and are teetering on the brink of death. Li Weiyi, I must tell you something you must never forget. Before an unstoppable tide, judge by intent, not action. This doesn't mean you should do nothing, but that your actions must match your cultivation level. The higher your cultivation, the greater the deeds you can accomplish. When it comes to benevolence, righteousness, loyalty, filial piety, and faith, judge by action, not intent. If we judged by intent, who in this world could be considered a true sage? Li Weiyi's heart surged with emotion. He clasped his hands together and bowed deeply. Your disciple understands. Yao Qingxian said, the attack on Lingxiao City is tentatively scheduled for 3 months from now. But don't take that as the true date. Only the transcendent knows the real time. The divine sect will undoubtedly keep pushing the date back. The 8 prefectures controlled by the imperial court, Fu Prefecture, Han Prefecture, Yang Prefecture, and Liang Prefecture, will be attacked by the divine sect. Once conquered, they will remain under the sect's control, with all profits going to the sect. Li Weiyi unfolded the map of the Lingxiao realm on the table. Since Master is the Venerable Nan, I presume you're responsible for Fu Prefecture and Han Prefecture. Yao Qingxian strolled to the table and gently shook her head. The divine sect's hierarchy, from top to bottom, consists of 2 ancestors of Twin Rice sect, 3 sufferers, 4 hall masters, and the 5 great venerables. Don't take this too seriously either. First, even I don't know which of these top-tier cultivators are twinborn and which are single individuals. Second, the 3 vice palace masters of the Heaven Valley Tianja Hall are all great immortal cultivators with peerless cultivation. Among the 5 great venerables, I am the youngest. The other 4 are all over 120 years old, with unfathomable cultivation. The sect's headquarters is located in the Southern Territory, making it crucial to the divine sect. Consider this, why would they appoint the youngest human as the venerable of the Southern Territory? Li Wei pondered for a moment. Does this mean Master's position as Venerable Nan is nominal, without real authority? Yao Qingshan said, it's not quite that dramatic, but it's close. The Heaven Valley Tianja Hall has 2 vice palace masters in the Southern Territory, each commanding a major power. They are Shu Fodu of Coffin Mountain and Yang Shenjing of the Sui sect. They are the true decision makers in the Southern Territory's affairs. Li Wei thought to himself, no wonder she spends most of her time at headquarters. She's got 2 mountains pressing down on her. Yao Qingshan continued, my appointment as Venerable Nan was part of the divine sect's original plan to seize Li Prefecture, control the Zhu Li tribe, and then form a triangular alliance with Coffin and Fu prefectures to crush the Zhuoqiu clan in the middle, thus controlling the entire southern territory. You know what happened later. So what's happening now? Li Wei asked. Yao Qingshan replied, Shu Fodu and his Buddhist Salvation Army from Coffin Mountain are taking Han Prefecture. Yang Shenjing's forces are taking Fu Prefecture. Li Wei said, the Zhang clan of Fu Prefecture is one of the imperial court's 4 great clans. They have a transcendent ancestor and boast a number of experts rivaling ancient myriad sects. Yang Shenjing is unlikely to be a match for them, is he? Yao Qingshan shook her head. The divine sect's headquarters is located deep beneath Fu Prefecture. The sect's infiltration and control over Fu Prefecture far surpasses anything the Zhang clan could imagine. If the Zhang clan is wise, they might survive. If they're not, their entire clan will perish. The demon clan and the divine sect have joined forces to attack the imperial court. The major powers of the human clan will undoubtedly remain neutral at first, waiting for us to weaken each other. So, the 8 prefectures won't be difficult to conquer. The real challenge lies here. She pointed to a heavily marked area north of Fu Prefecture, west of Liang Prefecture, and south of Yu Prefecture. The Cloud Heaven Immortal Plain, where Lingxiao City stood. A city of immortals, nestled between the clouds and the heavens on a high plateau. Given Li Wei's current cultivation, his status as the eldest disciple, and his position as the 4th divine son, Yao Qingshan treated him with considerable respect, sharing everything openly. She continued, the grand formation protecting the Cloud Heaven Immortal Plain was personally laid down by the Mist Heavenly Sovereign in his time. Only 4 mountain ranges connect to the plain above, and each range is fortified with a mighty pass garrisoning tens of thousands of soldiers. South of Fu Prefecture, beneath the Shu Mountain Heavenly Range, lies South Yan Pass, one of these 4 strategic checkpoints. Originally, I intended to send you to Li Prefecture to oversee matters there. But with the changing situation, you must now deliver a crucial item to South Yan Pass on my behalf. Li Wei asked, what item? And why me? I'll tell you before you depart, Yao Qingshan replied. And Shanjing returned, and she and Yao Qingshan secluded themselves by the rice fields, refusing all visitors. 2 days later, nourished by their blood, Li Wei's spiritual qi, and spiritual lights, 4 infants were born, 2 boys and 2 girls, all with pure immortal physiques. When the infants broke their shells, a dazzling golden radiance erupted throughout the divine sect's headquarters, and crimson clouds enveloped the southern purity Nanqing Palace. Many ancient elders Li Wei had never even seen before suddenly appeared, taking the matter very seriously. The southern purity Nanqing Palace had never been so lively. Li Wei felt immense pressure, terrified that Tang Wanzhou in the ancestral field might suddenly awaken. Fortunately, once Shanjing took the 4 golden rice infants back to the returning Spirit Valley Lingu Hall, the southern purity Nanqing Palace quickly fell silent. Li Wei felt a hollow emptiness in his heart. He had only seen the infants when they broke their shells, each one was adorable and well behaved. 2 of them even had feathered wings, resembling incarnate elves. Yao Qingshan walked through the formation's shimmering curtain and approached Li Wei, who was sitting on the edge of the rice field, lost in thought. What's wrong? I'm not used to it, Li Wei said, his voice tinged with sentimentality. I'm used to seeing them growing here. When they grow up, they might never know that someone watered, illuminated, and accompanied them for so long. Yao Qingshan used spiritual qi to retrieve an iron box sealed with talismanic runes from her boundary pouch. Is this what I'm supposed to deliver? Li Wei stood up and carefully examined the box. It was square and rectangular, about a foot long and wide. The talismanic runes covering it were incredibly complex and profound, beyond Li Wei's current psychic power to comprehend. Yao Qingshan said, this matter is of utmost importance. We cannot afford any mistakes. Li Wei repeated the question she had asked 2 days ago. What is it doesn't matter to you. The reason you must go is that only someone of sufficient standing within the divine sect can demonstrate our sincerity. Don't assume this is a simple task. It may be fraught with danger. Li Wei asked, who is the recipient? Zhou Bida, one of the 3 chief mates of South Yan Pass. He is a disciple of the Zhang clan's transcendent elder and the clan's son-in-law, Yao Qingshan replied. Li Wei asked, but is he currently one of our people? For now, only half. Yao Qingshan continued, his family has been completely controlled by the divine sect, this is coercion. The contents of the box represent enticement, his condition. Li Wei asked, Master, are you worried Zhou Bida might change his mind? Yao Qingshan shook her head. No, Zhou Bida loves his wife and daughter too much to risk opposing the divine sect. The danger comes from 3 sources. First, the item in the box is extremely rare and could help Zhou Bida achieve a breakthrough to Immortal Realm in a single step. Many people know it was taken out. I fear spies from the major human clan powers may be lurking within the divine sect, having already leaked the news to set up an ambush along your journey. Second, your departure from the headquarters will itself attract the covetous eyes of some within the divine sect. Li Wei asked, if that's the case, why didn't Master go herself? That's your third major danger. Yao Qingshan said, with your current cultivation, you're almost ready to enter the Jiazi Register. The Jiazi Register is located on Phoenix Terrace, and it automatically locks onto the approximate location of every expert under 60 years old in the world who meets its criteria. A new master has emerged in the Jiazi Register. The Phoenix Terrace and the attendant hall will be the first to seek you out to record your information. The Imperial Court must ensure that all masters in the world are under their control. Li Wei asked, isn't there a way to avoid it? Otherwise, how have the masters of the ancient myriad sects and hidden sects managed to evade it? Yao Qingshan glanced at him coldly. Only by hiding within a hidden sect can one avoid being recorded. Once you leave and engage in combat, your aura will leak, and the Jiazi Register will lock onto you. When Lingxiao Palace ruled the world, how many powerful individuals could truly hide? Besides the Jiazi Register, there's the Human Sovereign's Register forged by the Calamity Crossing Temple for the Zuaoqiu clan, the Demon Clan's Feathered Splendor List, and the Divine Sects the Myriad Beings of the World Diagram. Li Wei asked, was Master ever recorded in the Jiazi Register? Yao Qingshan revealed a proud expression. I've long been on the Jiazi Register's blacklist. For the past decade, the Phoenix Terrace has dispatched numerous masters to track me down. Whenever I appear, they pursue me, trying to uncover my identity. But they've never succeeded. Li Wei said, with my current cultivation, I might not even make it into the Jiazi Register. Even if I do, I'll certainly be at the bottom, unlikely to attract much attention. And as long as I don't fight or leak my aura, the Jiazi Register won't fluctuate. Be extra careful at the foot of Lingxiao City. Once you reach South Yan Pass, find Mansion Elder. He's in charge of all matters there, Yao Qingshan instructed. Li Wei's lips twitched. He had many questions he wanted to ask, but he wasn't sure if he should. Yao Qingshan had been so clear in her explanation, and her deliberate dispatch of him felt like she was using him to reveal these secrets to someone. Yet she had also told him to learn to keep his mouth shut when his cultivation wasn't strong enough. For a moment, Li Wei couldn't tell which side Yao Qingshan was on. Was she truly an elder of the hidden sect? Was she really just sending him to deliver an item? Or was she simply afraid to speak plainly? Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 4, Shuangsheng Dao Sect Twin Rice Sect. Chapter 75 330 Already winter of the following year. 75th of Volume 4. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. The path leading away from the main hall began at the Heaven Valley Tianjia Hall. The Heaven Valley Tianjia Hall was responsible for all matters under heaven. Its hall master, 3 vice hall masters, 5 great venerables, and 28 elders were scattered across the 28 provinces of Lingxiao, not at the main hall. The Heaven Valley Tianjia Hall's complex was located south of the Mortal Realm layer. Cultivators entering the hall almost all wore masks, concealing their true identities. Li Wei, Tuoba Buchuo, and Qi Xiao traveled together to southern Yan Pass. They also donned masks to conceal their faces and altered their forms before entering the hall. After presenting their life tokens, they each planted a death spirit fire. The elderly registrar then asked where they were headed. Li Wei, being a divine son and already marked with Yao Qingshan's death spirit fire, didn't need to plant another. He adopted an arrogant posture and said disdainfully, a divine son's journey always involves a crucial mission. How could I casually reveal my destination? If the information leaks, can you bear the responsibility? The elderly registrar quickly apologized, saying, "It's like this. To conceal the divine sect's headquarters and its entrance, all those below the rank of venerable one must use the space teleportation formation to be transported to several ancestor rice temples outside. From there, they disperse and gather discreetly. It's normal for the fourth divine son not to know this, since he's never left the main hall. For example, if Divine Son were sent to the Western Territory on official business but was teleported to the Eastern Territory instead, wouldn't that be a huge detour?" Qi Xiao recalled Green Robe Town outside Chu Prefecture City, where the Ancestor Rice Temple, presided over by a holy spiritual master, likely housed a space teleportation formation. It was probably one of the Rice sect's distribution hubs. Under his mask, Li Weiyi's eyes softened slightly, to the Eastern Territory. Southern Yan Pass, located in the northernmost part of Fu Prefecture, belonged to the Southern Territory. He deliberately mentioned the Eastern Territory because the Heaven Valley Tianjia Hall's registration information was too easily leaked. There was a good chance that news of his departure would fall into the wrong hands the moment he left. Entering and exiting the main hall required inspection by the myriad character artifact Buddha statue. Cosmic pouches, wind mansions, ancestral fields, and even internal organs and bones were all incapable of concealing people or objects. Li Weiyi knew this. He had already taken a risk by dragging Tang Wanzhou into the blood-mud space. The Dao ancestor's Tai Chi fish was far beyond the comprehension of a mere Buddha statue. Guided by a young inner sect disciple, the three of them entered a deep cave behind the main hall. An ancient space teleportation formation came into view. The formation, 3 zhong in diameter, had grooves filled with the blood of an ancient immortal giant beast and inlaid with high-grade blood crystals, making it strikingly similar to the one in the southern Purity Palace. The cavern was vast, with stone steps carved along the walls that spiraled upwards, faintly illuminated by light from above. It was natural light. A cool, crisp breeze drifted down. Li Weiyi and his companions gazed upwards for a long moment, their hearts pounding with the certainty that the exit lay above, leading directly to the surface. The space teleportation formation couldn't penetrate the walls of the underground immortal mansion, they had been teleported out through the exit. Trapped underground for over a year, a surge of excitement coursed through each of them, like prisoners about to break free and return to the bustling world of mortals. The stone steps were sealed off, impassable. The three of them, along with 16 masked cultivators from the Twin Rice sect, stepped into the space teleportation for formation. Whoosh! Crimson light enveloped the entire formation, obscuring the outside world. All they could feel was a violent sensation of weightlessness, making them nauseous. Their bodies felt as if they were being kneaded and rapidly pulled up and down. Fortunately, their deep cultivation allowed them to remain calm and composed. When the crimson light dissipated, they found themselves in a dark, damp cavern. Following their companions, Li Weiyi and his companions ascended to the surface, emerging into the inner hall of a Taoist temple. After leaving the Ancestor Rice Temple, the remaining 16 people quickly dispersed in all directions. Li Weiyi, Qi Xiao, and Tuoba Buchuo stood outside the temple, arms outstretched, eyes closed, desperately inhaling the crisp winter air. The gloom that had weighed them down vanished, replaced by the exhilaration of a flood dragon emerging from the depths, soaring into the boundless sky. Qi Xiao roared, "Finally, we're out. It's so much more comfortable out here. I'm going to the heavenly pavilion to order the most expensive dishes, drink the finest wine, and hire the most beautiful girls to play the zither and dance for me. I need to make up for my Dao seed feast. Haha, I have the same idea. But going to the immortal forest is more fitting for our current status. We're no ordinary Dao seed realm cultivators now, we're worthy of an immortal attendance company," Tuoba Buchuo said. Li Weiyi chuckled softly, "If you're going to the immortal forest, I won't be joining you. I can't get in." When they entered the underground immortal mansion, the air was crisp and clear. When they emerged again, it was winter of the following year. The three were quickly pulled back to reality. The death spirit fire planted within them still tethered them, even though they had left the underground immortal mansion. Outside the Ancestor Rice Temple lay an ordinary market town, home to over 1,000 residents, serving as a disguise. "Lao Qi, go find a carriage," Li Weiyi said. Qi Xiao looked puzzled. "Won't that leave tracks and make us easier to track?" "I saw those masked cultivators earlier, they were all wary of each other, taking different routes and avoiding leaving footprints." Tuoba Buchuo said, "The fewer people who know, the less risk of exposure." Li Weiyi narrowed his eyes slightly, "If someone wants to track and find us, they'll find a way. My point is, since we can't avoid it, let's see who comes looking for me. If no one does, we won't have to live in constant fear." "Understood." Qi Xiao's eyes lit up as he grasped the plan. He immediately went into town to inquire and make purchases. The residents of the town were no ordinary folk, all deeply connected to the Twin Rice sector. After a while, Qi Xiao returned with a dilapidated, simple carriage. He picked up Li Weiyi and Tuoba Buchuo and drove straight out of town. The carriage wheels crunched through the snow, and they faced the biting wind as they officially embarked on a journey of uncertain fate. Qi Xiao cracked his whip and urged the horses forward as he said, "This town is called Chengdu Town. It's located in Jin County, part of Taking Prefecture, one of the 8 prefectures of Liang Province. It's only 600 miles from Ku County, the prefectural seat. But southern Yan Pass, our destination, is at least 2,000 miles away." Tuoba Buchuo said, "The Twin Rice sect is truly formidable. Controlling a space teleportation formation. Even ordinary disciples who reach their main hall wouldn't know its true location. The Tuoba clan is a northern giant clan with a transcendent ancestor, yet this is the first time I've ever seen such a legendary formation." Qi Xiao was moved. He nodded lightly. The Twin Rice sect can be called an ancient myriad power. What the world knows about them is just the tip of the iceberg. The standard for an ancient myriad power is 1. A lineage spanning at least 1,000 years. 2. At least 10,000 martial mystic cultivators with superior talent. 3. A direct influence over 10 million people. All 3 conditions must be met. Of course, there are also hidden requirements. For example, an ancient myriad power must have transcendence to hold the line, a top-tier scripture, an impenetrable mountain gate, and at least 10 immortal realm and holy spiritual master-level experts completely loyal to the sect. Failing to meet these hidden requirements makes it difficult to gain recognition from the world. The Zhu clan, lacking transcendence, became a laughingstock among ancient myriad powers. In the decade-long wars across the land, powers with transcendence rapidly expanded, accumulating vast wealth, territory, and populations that met the standards of an ancient myriad power. However, consider the Tuoba clan. Despite having millions of people under their banner, they lacked a sufficient number of completely loyal immortal realm great powers and top-tier martial mystic cultivators. Their foundation and depth paled in comparison to true ancient myriad sects, relying entirely on the strength of their founding ancestor. If their founding ancestor were to unexpectedly perish, the clan would face annihilation. Moreover, the Tuoba clan in the Northern Territory was subservient to the Snow Sword Tang court, lacking the aura of a true ancient myriad sect. The number of top-tier martial mystic cultivators directly correlated with the number of 5 Cs realm-level experts, determining the strength of the armies they could assemble. Ancient myriad powers were generally considered to require at least 10 times the resources of a sect, a feat only the imperial court could achieve. The space teleportation formation was left behind by the ancient Bhagavata sect. Li Wei analyzed, the Twin Rice sect must have a powerful spiritual master who learned how to set up the formation. But they're not proficient enough to teleport as far beyond the Fu prefecture. Tuoba Buchuo agreed, exactly. If their formation setting skills were truly strong, they would have teleported us as far away from the Fu prefecture as possible to avoid the risk of the main hall being discovered. Li Wei had also studied space teleportation formations, hoping to combine them with the Buddha's relic. But his attempt failed. His psychic power wasn't strong enough to draw a complete array diagram. 10 miles outside the town, the 3 men silently dismounted, concealed their qi, and hid in the snowdrifts along the right side of the road. Boom. 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 The carriage continued its frantic gallop, the sound of its wheels thundering across the snow. It vanished over the snowy plains. Half an hour later, a team of powerful martial mystic cultivators, employing their body techniques to tread silently on the snow, followed the carriage tracks. After the piercing wind-breaking sound faded, Li Wei transmitted to the other 2 hidden in the snow, there are 5 of them. 4 are in the Dao Seed realm, and 1 is a spiritual master. They're from the patrol guard. This is a major operation, they're clearly determined to capture us. One of them is Yi Zhouzu. Could it be they're on a mission? Qi Xiao asked. Tuoba Buchuo replied, no. Yi Zhouzu is someone who could be recorded in the Jiazi register. By using his body technique to travel so quickly, he's already exposed his qi, which the Jiazi register would detect. While the imperial court's surveillance over the realm isn't as strict as it once was, it still poses a risk. Yi Zhouzu must be pursuing us, which is why he's willing to risk exposure to the Jiazi register. Li Wei chuckled, both Tuoba and I have the potential to be recorded in the Jiazi register. To keep as low a profile as possible, Lao Qi, we'll have to rely on you for many things from now on. Haha, who would have thought I'd be put to such good use because I'm not strong enough, Qi Xiao laughed. Let's go. The 3 broke through the snow and stopped waiting. Once the 5 top experts of the patrol guard caught up to the empty carriage and realized they'd been tricked, they were sure to turn back. Qi Xiao enveloped Li Wei and Tuoba Buchuo in spiritual qi, stepping onto a cloud of spiritual qi to glide eastward without touching the ground. Why aren't we heading west or south? Southern Yan Pass is southwest of us, Tuoba Buchuo asked curiously, unsure what Li Wei was worried about. Li Wei said, Fu Prefecture is now a hotbed of conflict. Countless experts have gathered here, and one misstep could make us targets. It's best to avoid trouble. I don't want to fight anyone before completing our mission. The Jiazi Register and Phoenix Terrace are already troublesome enough. The human overlords, Manuel and the Zhuoqiu sect, along with the Calamity Crossing Temple, are even more troublesome. They can lock onto all Dao Seed Realm martial mystic cultivators. The Dao Seed Realm is the realm of human overlords. Tuoba Buchuo suddenly understood. Then we'll have to detour to southern Yan Pass. Qi Xiao said, I have a route. We can travel by boat up the Ku River, disembark at Thunder Mausoleum City, and follow the Zushan Heavenly Vein to southern Yan Pass. This should keep anyone tailing us from knowing our true destination. Wait, it's an azure feather crow. That patrol guard squad has a tracking expert. A blue crow circled high in the sky, sometimes hidden in the clouds, sometimes visible, as if guiding those below. Qi Xiao's keen senses had detected it. Can you shoot it down? Li Wei asked. It's too high. I'll try. Qi Xiao took the bow and arrow from Tuoba Buchuo, drew the string, and hundreds of scriptures swirled around his body. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel.